We're live. Episode 13. Danny, takes away.
It is episode 13. It is another beautiful, beautiful Throughput Thursday. I am thrilled to be here, and I hope you are as well. Today, we are only 11 minutes late, which is about average, and thanks for bearing with us.
Diego already telling us, bro, late.
Yeah, that's how it goes, though. If you've watched this stream before, which I'm guessing you probably have, you know that it sometimes takes us a couple minutes to get up and running. So we do appreciate.
I was saying gaslight him, dude. You guys got to change your clocks. We're on time. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, your clocks are off, guys.
I'm at standard time.
I'm
adding this to my records.
Absolutely.
MST.
This is going to be a banger episode today. We brought back KZ from the Quant team to co-host. KZ, how's it going today?
Excited to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, it's gonna be an awesome one. It has been raining purple this week. In just a couple minutes, we are going to bring up some guests from the Perpl team who you have probably gotten to know either this week or previously. But before we jump into that, some updates from the Monad side of things. Yesterday, the 2048 game went live. 2048, timeless open source classic game. The engineering team absolutely cooked over the past couple months putting this together. And the purpose of this is really, it's not to create the next Fortnite or the next, amazing viral classic game, but it's really about showing devs that you can build interactive, real-time apps that are entirely on-chain without sacrificing speed or decentralization. This is basically a starter kit or an example of how you can have fun with a game, have fun with the Monad testnet. And if you do want to learn more, look at some of the code and potentially try something out yourself, you can go check out the blog post, which is linked on @monad_dev. Go build something fun. KZ, what did you think about the 2048 game?
Honestly, it was an amazing experience just being able to move my keys around and see the transactions get sent onto the blockchain in real time.
Make sure you're.
We gotta get you a little closer to the mic. We got sensitive mics here.
Gotcha. No worries. Yeah, I was just impressed by the fact that we could send so many transactions on chain, and then when I went to check on the Explorer, the transactions are all there. And one of the cool things that we did with this game is that we don't have a backend to store all of the game data in. So all of this data lives entirely on chain. So whenever there's a problem, the game knows to basically check the latest state from the blockchain. And yeah, that's something that you definitely cannot do on Ethereum or Avalanche or anything with less than 100 TPS. All of these transactions are just going to create a huge backlog that's going to take hours to maybe even days to go through.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Hope to see more of the developer community and devs from across the space experimenting with that and with other features of the Monad testnet. And speaking of the Monad testnet and the tech continually improving, we also had RaptorCast, researched and developed by the Category Labs team. So that's a pretty interesting update as well. It's a bit more on the right curve side of things, but proper propagation has been in my head for the majority of this past week or so. It really seems like there is no better block propagation method out there than RaptorCast. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, KZ, but definitely was exciting to see and exciting for me to dig into as someone who's non-technical and learn a little bit more about how block propagation methods work and how Category Labs is really just pushing a best-in-class consensus mechanism.
Right. Well, unfortunately, my knowledge on that subject is kind of spotty as well. I would love to get around to reading about it at some point. But I think I was working with, or I I had lunch with one of the engineers at Category, and we were talking about solving through a fun little math problem that involved finding like uh, n linearly independent vectors out of a group of 4n/3 randomly chosen vectors. Thought about it. We came up with something that seemed to work, but I'm not sure how related to RaptorCast that was.
Well, speaking of unique tech, unique use cases for the Monad protocol in particular, we do have some guests to bring up. They have just announced a monster raise, which was super, super exciting. We had them on a full episode of the Pipeline podcast. In just a second, we're going to bring up PBJ, co founder of Perpl, as well as G-Van, running the community side of things. Perpl just closed a $9.25 million fundraise led by Dragonfly and Ergonia. Super, super exciting to see more funding coming into the Monad ecosystem, more teams building novel applications. Perpl is certainly a novel DeFi application, and I'm excited to hear from their team. So let's pop on these headphones.
Something that has transpired while we started, James tweeted today that he hopes somebody's going to win his Mercedes today on Monad in the morning.
Wow, we might have to get that on the wheel and see if one of our lucky viewers goes home with James's Mercedes. I wouldn't mind going home with James's Mercedes. That's a pretty good prize. And we also have some other great prizes from Perpl as well.
So
let's
without
bring up
further ado,
PBJ. Let's bring up G-Van. And I see them coming in right now. Welcome to the show, guys. PBJ, G-Van, how's it going?
Doing good, guys.
Yo.
How are you?
Awesome. Grateful to have you on the show. Super excited to dive into Perpl, both on the product side, on the community side, and really everything in between. So thank you for joining. Maybe PBJ, if you could give kind of a quick personal intro, just in case anybody's tuning in today and hasn't seen the Pipeline podcast or the other media coverage that you guys have done this week post raise. You guys have been all over the timeline, but PBJ, take it away.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, one of the co-founders of Perpl. Perpl is a perp stacks on Monad. Super excited to be building on Monad and what we'll be able to do there. About me, ex-engineer turned Solidity developer. Now I don't get to develop as much, but we have a killer team here building a fully on-chain cloud on that L1 EVM. We've been working on it for the last year. Excited to announce a fundraise. Happy to be here and talk more about the project.
Awesome. Well, super excited to have you on. I think I just cut KZ off. KZ, were you going to say something?
Oh no, I was just going to say congratulations on the massive raise, and looking forward to what you guys are going to be shipping next.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, on that exact subject, I think it would be interesting for the community to hear from you, PBJ. How has the experience differed, if at all, from kind of the early bootstrap days when you're, first thinking about building an on-chain cloud, which, as we talked about on the Pipeline episode, this is like pretty much net new. It's very much so uniquely possible on Monad, at least in the context of EVM. But how does the experience, building a product like this differ prior to fundraising from after closing such, a successful round and, having, I'm sure, the ability to extend runway, perhaps bring on more team members, be building in a little bit more of a comfortable state. But, would be curious to hear your perspective on that.
Yeah, I mean, initially it was just AC and I. the two co-founders. So we were doing a lot of like the heavy lifting with the engineering and the outreach. But now we've built this amazing team. We have about 8 people, last I checked, that are fully located in London. So we have a good group of like backend engineers, UX engineers, DevOps, and AC, of course, does all the smart contracts. So everything in house. The fundraise is great, but I think, as I mentioned earlier, it's more exciting to see the list of angels and traders that are part of this raise. It just goes to show you, like, there's a seismic shift happening in on-chain trading, and Monad uniquely enables that. And we're just hoping to deliver on this excitement and hype that we built on this project.
Yeah, I'm interested, like certainly having the momentum and kind of this like buy-in basically from people that are actually spending their day on chain trading assets. Getting excited for the user experience and the decentralized nature of Perpl. I'm curious how you think about the Monad ecosystem from a DeFi perspective, from the time that it's live on mainnet, really, because that's when people start to really care about like having that point in time where you're confronted with the decision of like, where am I going to do my actual trading beyond testing out early stage products and playing around with the test net, which is awesome. But from a little bit of a longer term perspective, how do you think that actually plays out in practice?
Yeah, I think like the excitement that Mana has built is beyond just like, the interest in like another fast chain. It's the genuine community. And also just on the tech side, right? Like there were no shortcuts. It's kind of like the keyword that we like to use as well, where whether it's with the decentralization, the number of validators, the block speed, the block's gas throughput, and also just, I think Tunes had a great tweet about this. Like, it's like Solana and Ethereum had a baby and out came Monad, right? And you have this really high throughput chain that also is EVM compatible. And EVM has become this de facto, almost like JavaScript is a great analogy with like Web2 technologies where everybody is familiar with it. There's a lot of dev tooling with it. And also, there's just a ton of assets on the EVM. So once Monad goes live, there's going to be a lot of protocols that existed on these L2s and L1s that were EVM compatible that will come over to Monad. They will bring over their assets alongside with them and also the user base. So, the network effects that come from DeFi Legos, whether it's like the Aves, the Oilers, or, yield optimizers, there's just a ton of like existing applications that are going to work on Monad, and then there's also native applications on Monad, right? So Perpl is one of them. Kuru is another one. There's also these like betting games, and there's going to be a ton of other new applications that come on as Monad hits mainnet and hits its stride.
Awesome. Yeah, curious to hear also from KZ if you have perspective on that side of things, like how the DeFi and trading landscape on Monad might evolve in at the point which we get to mainnet and traders are actually able to come in and use real assets.
Right. Yeah. I think being a fast blockchain, being able to process a lot of transactions is so important for on-chain central limit order type of applications, because what most of the trading volume comprises is basically large institutional traders trying to either market make or like trade arbitrage strategies across multiple books. And for those traders, they care about the bips. And because of that, like they want to minimize slippage, they want to minimize fees, and like it's such a hyper competitive industry that like if you have like 12-second latency, like Ethereum, your quotes are just going to get picked off by smart, sophisticated actors or by MEV. So yeah, I think I see a great future of central limit order book style decks is thriving on Monad just because of the throughput and performance.
Yeah, I'm super excited for it. That's for sure. I love on-chain trading, although I usually get my clock cleaned. I'm not really one of those guys that's reliant on the bips. Just not that good. I need to level up personally, but I am looking forward to having a ton of fun on Perpl. And speaking of fun on Perpl, we have some pretty awesome Perpl prizes for the spin to win this week. So I think what we should do is I think we should do a little spin to win, see if we land on a Perpl prize for one of our viewers in the audience, and then PBJ actually has a surprise presentation. I have no idea what it is, but I am very much so looking forward to it. So let's get a spin to win going. And I know for those in the audience, we might have had a little bit of spotty audio at the beginning. So let us know in the chat if you can hear us loud and clear. I think you can. I hope you can. But we always have some minor tech issues.
I think it was G-Vans
Yeah,
from G-Vans N.
I think it's me. I had to restart the stream. I don't know what to do. I've tried everything on my side. I restarted. I muted. I unmuted. You might have
It's
noticed.
definitely still you.
Yeah, it might be your internet, G-Van. It sounds like you're on dial-up right now, man. I don't know. Let's see if we can troubleshoot that, but let's get a spin the wheel going.
Dude, people are just throwing numbers out right now.
Well, we do have our resident quant with us up here on stage, and I would be remiss if I didn't ask for a suggestion as to how we can fairly select our first winner.
While KZ is thinking about it, take a look. We got some brand new stuff on the wheel. There's all kinds of cool stuff.
Improved the prices since I was last on.
Well, we have to put. Well, thank you, first of all. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, the shade is.
Another call out that our prizes are bad. I assure you they're pretty good this week. We thankfully have a bunch from Perpl. Let's see. We have a Jerry NFT to give away.
Jerry mentioned. It's just Jerry, bro.
It's just Jerry. Yeah, that's all the explanation it gets. We also, from the Perpl side, have a free roller Discord roll, an online romantic e-date with G-Van and Small, a custom Wick PFP or banner from Lilia. Shout out Lilia, amazing artist. And we also have a follow from the Perpl account and a personalized King Louis crash out voice note. I don't know if that's a good prize or a bad prize, but having King Louis in your DMs is rarely a bad thing. So I will say that.
Also added a customized song on there. So I was in the Discord making some customized songs. That has been added on there as well. So
Jessup will make you a customized song with AI. So there you go. All right, let's do a spin to win, and then we'll throw it over to PBJ for the presentation. KZ, any ideas for how we can select our winner here? Chat, you don't need to drop numbers in yet, but it's, I guess, cool that you are.
I was just planning to do the usual pick a number between something and something, but
that's not bad. They're already guessing numbers.
I guess what I'm seeing is 2-digit numbers, so let's go with 3-digit numbers this time. Pick a number between 100 and 999, and we'll choose the closest one.
Okay. So wait, what are the numbers between 101 and 99?
100 and 999.
Oh, between 100 and 999.
dude, how are you going to find this? What is happening?
I'm actually like, oh, here they go.
Dude, you break the chat when you do this. I can't even add it.
This is the TPS that we need.
Yeah. I can't see it at all. This is crazy.
This is how I feel when I'm reading the Binance trade tickers.
Soon the Perpl order books.
Oh, I think I saw something that got really, really close. Okay, all right.
Should we just pick a random? This is like
Okay,
Dude, how?
we can stop it. Let's stop it here.
stop the count.
Stop.
But we can't stop. They're going.
Okay.
You
The-
guys
the-
broke our quant.
Okay. The number that I picked was 635, and I swear I saw 634 somewhere. Oh, this is gonna be hard. All right. So,
Oh,
okay, how do you scroll down?
It's just I don't know if we could search it.
Okay, all right. I see 675 from PopNat, and that seems relatively close. So congratulations to PopNat.
Oh, once you said it, everyone started throwing in 635. All right, we're going to go with PopNad for this spin to win, and then we're going to throw it over to PBJ. PopNad, let's find out what you win. Casey, give us a spin.
Move it into camera.
Let's see.
A
Oh,
Jerry.
wow, a Jerry.
PopNad got a Jerry.
That's pretty good. It's just a Jerry, but hey, that's a good prize. We like that.
Just Jerry, bro.
Just a Jerry. Just a Jerry. Not bad. PopNat's going home with a prize today. Okay, let's throw it over to PBJ. That's not our first spin. It's not our or it is our first spin, but it's not our last spin. But PBJ,
All right, you guys chill on the chat. You broke the
surprise presentation.
like. It doesn't let me make adjustments to anything right now because they're. Wait.
do you want me to start? Or
You could try live stream it. It's kind of
Sure.
like frozen right now.
Let me
You
know
guys-
when you guys can see this.
Chill on the chat. It is literally broken. Are you sharing?
Yeah, can you see it?
No.
Let me try again.
All right, here. Yeah, go ahead and try. There we go.
See it?
Yeah. There we go.
Ah, there we go.
Awesome. All right. Yeah, I think like one thing I wanted to do is just create like a really short presentation about Perpl. Perpl is a perps on Perpl chain. That's where the name comes from. We're building the best-in-class decentralized exchange for perps trading on Monad. And, there's a lot that goes into that. We're trying to build like a fully on-chain club, the first time ever on the EVM. And that's just a lot of engineering effort, right? We're literally handcrafting the EVM to get like the maximal juice from it. So when traders are trading on this DEX, it's super efficient, super gas performant, and market makers can make on it very efficiently. And then we're also working on our UX, right? So our UX isn't live yet. We should have this live soon. But we're going to have like the best-in-class trading experience for trading perps. It's going to be UX that most people are familiar with. And it's, it's going to have like the efficiency and like hopefully the things that Monad brings to it. And I was thinking about it when I put together this presentation. I was like, I can talk about perps, but what I really want to talk about is blockchain Larry David. This is something that I dropped the alpha in the pipeline episode in the last 2 minutes for the alpha question. And I did not see anybody do anything with it. So I figured, you know what? I'll do it myself. So what do I mean by blockchain Larry David? We all know James Hunsaker, brilliant engineer, Twitter aficionado, sometimes works on the blockchain. Um, he is blockchain Larry David. And I'm sure a lot of people on the stream don't know who Larry David is. But Larry David is a extremely funny comedian. He made Seinfeld and Curb Your Enthusiasm, one of the funniest people in the world. And you'll see why James Hunsaker is blockchain Larry David, or as I like to call him, Larry James. All these quotes are pretty much word for word what Larry David has said in these shows. But as you'll see, you can pretty much replace James's face on it, and it will stand. So, what does Larry James think about praying? Well, he doesn't believe in it. All right, he doesn't believe in it because this is a potential conversation with him and John W. Richkit. What does James, a blockchain engineer, think about forks? Something to be worried about. He actually got in trouble for stealing forks from restaurants. All right, this has actually happened to him. What do you think about smiling? Like, even though his face in this picture is smiling, he actually hates smiling. All right, he really does
There's
not
a
like
lot
smiling.
of James shade right now.
All right, and then arguments. You would think, this guy's on Twitter arguing all the time. Why? There's a lot of morons on Twitter. There's a lot of crypto Twitter idiots that need to be set right, and James wants to do that. All right. And then you would think, oh my God, this guy hates people. You're right, he does. But he still loves mankind. All right. And then most importantly, what does Larry James think about his friendship with Keone? They're not really close, right? They've known each other for a long time, but not close friends. And then, is he a horrible person? Does he show any affection? Depends. It really depends. Listen, James is an awesome engineer. He's a great angel investor. He's been super helpful. But I think this is my gift to the Monad community. There's just a treasure trove of Larry David clips that you can splice James's face on, and it works every single time. I did not have to put that much effort, although I did spend most of the today making this presentation. It was totally worth it. I hope the community enjoyed it. But just to go back to perps, okay? I don't know how I'm going to take this back, but perps are an extremely popular product. It's one of the top 3 things that actually work on crypto. We think perps are the end game of crypto. We're super excited about what we're building at Perpl. There's just a ton of great tech. We can't wait to bring it to mainnet. And I hope to come back on the show, if I'm not banned, to talk about the product live when it's on testnet and mainnet.
We certainly hope to have you back to talk about the product when it is live on testnet and mainnet. Really looking forward to getting hands on. That was a very interesting presentation. James may be tuning in because he did volunteer to give away his Mercedes on stream today. So can we get some W's for James in the chat here? Godfather of the parallel EVM, makes all things performant possible. That was awesome. Do we still have GVan on as well? Because I want to hear what's been going on in the Perpl community. I know there's been a ton of momentum this week. We've got quote unquote purple rain coming down. GVan, can you hear us? You look great.
I can hear you guys. Am I here? Am I actually back? Let's go.
You're actually
dude.
back. You are so extremely back.
I'm so extremely back. Dude, I've restarted everything. Like I left my house, I went downstairs, I found the closest internet pole, I restarted that one too. I don't know what's going on. I'm really sorry for the lags, but yeah, we're finally here. Dude, amazing to speak with you finally. And yeah, it's been an insane week. Man, we have had a bunch of events. I'm super, super, super happy with how everything has been going. We worked a lot on the mascot, and just launching that one felt like a huge W for me. And I spoke with Lily, who helped us with the design of the mascot initially, and she's super happy seeing the community run with it. And also, I'm so excited about the prize. I cannot stress that enough. Like I feel like when we picked that prize, we're like, is it funny or like are people gonna like it? So now people are like are making jokes about it, about me and Small going on a date with them, and it's like I feel like we people are having fun, and that's what it's all about. And Monday was fun. Tuesday was absolutely mental after the announcement. And by that point, like I remember Keone tweeted out, why is my timeline full of jellyfish and anthropomorphic candles? And I'm like, yes, this is it. Anthropomorphic candles taking over the timeline. So yeah, it's been a wild, wild week. I'm very, very happy with how it went. I'm very happy seeing people having fun, spaces all day. Like the community, we have been trying for a long time to build the core community for Mona for Purple, a little bit independently and with a clear goal of making a trader focused community, but also making sure we're inclusive. We do fun stuff, and you don't have to be like a trader or anything special to participate. And I felt like everything came together this week, which was beautiful. And we're coming into the close for Purple Week, so it's a wholesome feeling, man. It's a wholesome feeling.
Absolutely love it. The Wick mascot is fantastic. It's just such an awesome character, and it's so on point brand wise for Perpl. So absolutely loved seeing that one hit the timeline. Um, yeah, super excited to see the continued evolution of the Perpl community. But it's just been madness this week. And to your point, Gvan, it's great to have so many people participating from different corners of the Monad community and crypto, not just traders, but artists and yappers and memers and everyone who kind of comes in and makes this well-rounded, truly fun community experience. And I know it is the very early innings for Perpl and the Monad ecosystem as a whole. So this is really just a starting point. And it'll be super exciting, like we were just talking about with PBJ, once the product is live and people can actually get a feel for the trading UX, again in a very decentralized manner, is really exciting to look forward to. I certainly am. So I think we should do another spin of the wheel here. We have so many great prizes. Let's not let them go to waste. You could win. I guess we could give away another Jerry. We certainly have a date with Small and Gvan to give away. We've got roles in the Perpl Discord and many other great prizes. So let me get this wheel back up here and let's spin it again.
Chaos is pretty upset that intern is not here to unblock him.
Yes, intern is actually out. We did not address the again the elephant that is not in the room this week. Intern is up at in Toronto at a conference or traveling back today. So he wishes he could be here. He sends his love to the Monad community, the Perpl
except
community.
for Chaos, because I did say, "Hey, unblock," and he was like, "No."
Oh.
Guys, it was I had Chaos calling me multiple times asking if he can come to my house and directly address intern over this matter, but I stopped him thankfully, so we're
Yeah,
safe.
that's the good thing you stopped him. That would have been.
We live very close.
Oh,
It would have been
interesting.
awkward, I know.
Oh, so have you guys, Gvan, have you guys like previously met up IRL?
Yeah, we actually met in House of Molandak, and we started chatting, and then eventually we're like, okay, we hang out a lot at this point. Where are you at? And he's like, there, and I'm like, oh, so right next to my house. So then we met up, and it turns out his brother is best friends with my brother, which is wild. And we only
Wow.
met in House of Molandak. Yeah, crazy.
That's the Monad community effect right there. It's I think it's somewhat similar to the story of Intern and Tunes actually meeting for the first time, getting to know one another on Twitter, and then realizing that the distance between them actually wasn't too far, and setting up an IRL meetup. Definitely hope to see more of those. Monad community has been all over the world in the past 2.5 years, but it really is those IRL meetups that are so fun. It was so awesome to meet you last summer, G-Van, and I think we had a couple times that we overlapped at IRL meetups, as well as many other community members. So definitely encourage that. If there's cool people that you've interacted with online, in crypto, out of crypto, in the Monad community, meet up with them. They're probably cool. If they're cool online, they're probably cool IRL. However, that is not certainly not financial advice, but also not life advice, because I guess there's some degree of risk to meeting up with online anons. But let's spin this wheel. It's been too long. G-Van or PBJ, do you guys have any ways that we could pick somebody for the spin to win? Sometimes we do a number. Sometimes, like, you guys think of could think of
I got
fruit.
I got an
Yeah,
idea.
don't do numbers.
I have another idea that's
It
based
breaks
on
the
numbers.
chat.
But this
How
time
about
but
how about
we'll save it
favorite
for next
color?
time.
It's still gonna break the chat.
That's gonna go quick.
Oh,
Favorite color is it your favorite color,
Yeah.
PBJ? Okay, so if you guess PBJ's favorite color,
All right. It's already there.
Who is it?
Real Chaos Walker.
Oh gosh.
oh my goodness, it's chaos again. I don't know.
He came
I
up
think
with
some
purple.
of these.
I think that was the first purple I saw.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of these Monad in the Morning super fans are really cracked at this point on the spin to win, but we cannot deny it. Chaos is already blocked on the Monad main account. We do need to get in touch with intern and get him sorted there, because he has spent a week in
2 weeks.
or 2 weeks now in purgatory, but goodness knows he deserves it. So
Well,
this one
hopefully
is for
it
Chaos.
lands on a main account block, so then it's all good.
He is just going to be perpetually banned from viewing Monad's tweets, which I don't know. We'll
Also,
see.
just so you guys know, James did see the presentation on mute. So
Okay. All right. Well,
I did ask
here
him
we
to
go.
come visit and watch this, but yeah.
Yeah, we got to get James back on soon. All right, this one's for Chaos. Spin to win. That was pretty good, if I may say so myself. We have here.
I can't read that.
Oh, this is a good one. Louis personal crash out.
oh,
So
chaos.
this means that Chaos Walker can expect a DM from none other than King Louis himself, crashing out, presumably on a voice memo. I don't know who wouldn't want to receive that. If I received a personal crash out from King Louis, I would probably set it as my alarm clock or my ringtone.
It's
More
got to be
likely
a video though, so we can all see it.
Yeah, true. Okay. All right. Louis, we really hope that you do a video for Chaos, but thank you for volunteering to put that on the board. Back on the Perpl community side of things, though, I know there's been a lot of activity this week. I know there's even more events coming up today and tomorrow. Karma was mentioning to me that there is, I believe, a drawing event, a live drawing event in the Perpl Discord on Friday at 4 p.m. UTC. G-Van, what else has been going on in the community, and what else can people look forward to?
Yeah. First of all, congratulations to Chaos. I feel like after he deserved a crash out video from Louis, he truly won that, and I feel like Louis delivered on one today for another community member who won at poker. So I'm looking forward to Louis completely crashing out on Chaos and his ability to win negative prizes every week. On the community side, man, it has been a great week. On Monday, we ran a DeFi workshop. We had Abdul and PB in there. One of the best events of the week, in my opinion. We run those DeFi workshops weekly. At this point, bi-weekly at the beginning. Now it's probably going to be happening weekly. I definitely think that this is one of our key events, and people should drop by, check out the conversations, and get involved. Then we got on Thursdays our big event. This is the Thursday event. We call it therapy, and it's been the cornerstone of the community building efforts we're doing. Basically, what we do over there, it's like we have been trying to stay on top of everything going on in the crypto markets. So basically, we go through the news of the week. We talk about macro. We talk about everything that happened in the markets, and it has been more like a community thing where everyone who's like researching and willing to share their findings, we make sure that we give them the spotlight and they share, and we get into a discussion over rather than anything else. So it's an effort of getting people, people who have value to step up and be noticed within the community for what they do. So in my opinion, that should be the number one event. Like if you want to get into the Perpl community, this is the place for you to get involved. We do our best every week to keep it like 100% inclusive. Like we make sure we go through chat, we answer questions, we get in a conversation. The therapy event is, 1 to 2 hours of the community getting in a conversation about what is going on in the markets. We go, we test out dapps, we do everything, no matter what regard, based on what happened in that week. We start from somewhere, and then eventually we let the conversation just flow. We test out dApps. Basically, what we're doing is like we're trying to make sure that everyone who is in Purple stays up to date with what is happening in crypto and what they can do with their on chain life, right? So we're not limited to one ecosystem. We try out different stuff. And yeah, it's been the cornerstone of what we do. And then on Fridays, we do obviously Friday nutting. We've been running Friday nutting at this point with Louis and Small for over a year. We had our 1 year anniversary a couple of weeks ago. Big moment for us. We celebrated by forgetting about it. And we realized like a few days after we had the big plan to run like an event in Greece and do all the cool stuff about that, but we forgot, so we didn't do anything. And yeah, these are the core events that happen always, but for this week specifically, we have extra events. So for the rest of the week, what people can do to get involved with Purple is today we have therapy starting in a couple of hours. Definitely drop by and check out that one. And then tomorrow, right after Friday nighting, we're gonna be hosting a fireside. PB is gonna be there. Karma is gonna be there drawing. So yeah, I mean, we had another fireside like that the other day with Drakey drawing also, and we thought after that, after this week and everything that happened, what's the best way to wrap everything up? Wholesome fireside chat with the community, with Karma there drawing. I feel like there's no better way to wrap things up. We're just gonna hang out, talk about what happened, and then the community is just gonna take over like they always do, and they're gonna make the conversation completely derail, and we'll see what happens. Nothing better than that, in my opinion, to wrap things up.
Absolutely love it. There's a ton of events going on, ton of ways to engage with the community, which I think is super super exciting. Not just catering to one individual audience. And actually, as part of that, the second half of this show, in about 5-10 minutes, is going to be with Bill Mondays, the elusive, illustrious Bill Mondays, cult leader for the Monad community, and we are going to talk about different ways that you can meaningfully contribute to a community, whether that be Perpl or Monad or anything else on the internet. But there's a point in time where again, like this diversity of events, the diversity of the amount of like different ways to engage with a community is super important, and you want to like channel and funnel that energy towards things that actually make a tangible impact on the product and user growth. So I know both Monad and Perpl in the very early innings here, despite having started community building over a year ago. But when you get closer to a mainnet launch and a full-on go-to-market, then there becomes a ton of unlocks and opportunities that open up for community members. And we want to help provide some tips and feedback on how you can channel that energy, how you can channel your skills and your craft to actually move the needle for the projects that you're supporting. So very much so looking forward to that. I don't know if there's any kind of closing CTAs, messages, announcements from PBJ or GVan. If not, we can go run it up with a final spin to win for the audience. But I'll pause there.
Let's do the spin to win. Maybe somebody will win James's car.
I actually don't know if did we not put the. I don't think we put the car on the wheel yet.
Yeah, and
so
he did
I'm
text me and asked to put it back on. So maybe.
Yeah, I took it. Well, so was it Taily Whaley that won the Jaguar last week? Somebody won.
Yeah,
Somebody
it might
won
have
the
been. I think it was.
James's Jaguar last week. So I removed
Yassi.
Yassi, yes. So I removed the Jaguar from the spin to win because it had already been won, and James didn't say that he was going to go get another Jaguar. So
No, this is a Mercedes.
yeah, right. This is a Mercedes. So
maybe
I'll add it to the wheel. KZ, you had a way to select the winner, right?
It's going to be numbers based,
Okay.
but it's going to be a little bit more work to type in, and hopefully a little bit less work to pick a person this time.
Okay. I love it. What do we got?
All right. So what's going to happen is everyone will type in 3 numbers, not just one. And each of the 3 numbers will be between 0 and 255.
Nice.
Wait, so you have to get all 3 numbers correct?
Nope. I'll disclose the criterion once we've picked someone.
Oh.
But I imagine it's going to go by quick.
Retroactive criteria. I like it, KZ. All right, get your 3 numbers in the chat. Again, it's between 1 and 250, did you say?
255.
0 and 255.
Oh, 0 and 255. Inclusive. Get some numbers in the chat. We've got prizes. We've got a wheel to spin. We've got GVan and PBJ here from Perpl. What could be better? I'm actually not seeing the chat moving. I don't know if my screen is just...
Yeah, neither.
Maybe our chat is officially broken by... Oh, here it goes. It is not officially broken. We are just behind by... looks like almost a full minute.
We said 69.
Incredible velocity of guess.
This is invigorating content. GVan, if you had to let one person from the Monad community sleep on your couch for
the name.
an entire year, who would you let?
An entire year, Diego. No second thoughts, Diego.
PBJ.
No man I trust more.
PB&J, what's your answer?
Nobody. I don't trust the Monad community.
James?
Definitely not
That's
James.
the only
Definitely
right
not
answer.
James.
Would you let... How about King Louis? Would you let King Louis? Yeah, you know, he's waking up every morning. He's yelling all the time. I've lived with him, by the way. Like, he's literally the worst roommate I've had in my entire life. But he's fun.
Why is he the worst?
He's fun. I promise you.
Why
Like,
is he the worst roommate?
No comment.
Okay.
I don't want to crash out with you. Can you imagine? I'm trolling. Louis, I love you, man.
Do we have a winner?
By the way,
I see
Danny,
some promising
I'm not
comments
sure.
in the chats, but I haven't seen an actual. Oh, can I get this? Who's IKA10NFS?
I think I can search.
I saw.
Oh, IKA?
10NFS.
No,
No.
search not working. Guys, the chat is just way too fast here. Way too fast. Like it's unreadable. We are gonna have to not only level up our prizes, but we're gonna have to level up our
Selection.
Yeah, it's really just like impossible to read that fast because there's so many
I just
comments
saw
coming
the
up.
IK, but then it disappeared.
Okay, all right. I got one. GZ, how you doing?
Okay,
All
do you want to
GZ.
elaborate
So the
on
cri-
how
so-
he got it correctly?
A
GG.
lot of people have alluded to this in the chat already, but essentially, I was looking for an RGB that looked purple.
Nice.
Oh, interesting.
Very nice.
Oh, I like
So
that.
the way to do that would have been to pick a red value and a blue value that were relatively high, and a green value that was relatively low.
Interesting.
So congrats,
Okay, that
GZ.
is probably the most gigabrain prize selection method that we have ever had on this show. Absolutely love it. This one's for GZ. Let's spin it up.
GZ's also saying it's LKA. That's
I don't know. What does that mean?
not IKA. LKA.
Oh, L and the I mix up. There. Happens. This one's for GZ. Let's see what we got.
Are you down?
Jerry.
Another Jerry. Wow.
2 times
We're gonna
in a
have
row.
to clean out the Jerry floor.
I don't.
Those things.
There's
yeah,
not enough J's. There's not enough
those
J's
things
for
are
everyone, guys.
very, very rare. I don't know why the supply was super, super low. But I guess it's just Jerry. So what are you gonna do?
Just Jerry, bro.
Did anyone win the online date with
Not
me and
yet,
Small
but
yet?
we'll keep it up there for the second half of the show.
No.
We'll keep it up there as long as you want, G-Van. It's been awesome having you on as well as PBJ. Really, really excited for Perpl again. Congrats on a monster fundraise. Congrats on all the community momentum. Really looking forward to getting hands on with the product, on-chain order book. Really, really revolutionary. So super, super excited to get hands on later on testnet, maybe mainnet as well. Lots in the pipeline. Trademark, no pun intended. But thanks again for joining today, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. Been fun. Sorry for the lags. I don't. Next time I'll fix it. I don't know how though, but I'll figure it
We've
out.
been there, G-Van.
And
No
yeah,
worries.
I hope someone wins. Oh man, I really hope someone wins the date. I swear, just give it away to someone for free at the end. I just want to go on a date with a community member online
Okay.
and small
All right.
box
You heard
therapies.
it. You heard it here first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thanks
guys.
again for joining, guys.
Thanks for having me. And honestly, I took a brief look at some of the prizes. I must say that some of those are pretty fire.
Pretty fire, Casey. We might have to get you a spin to win at some point. But yeah, thanks again to the Perpl guys. KZ, you're welcome to hang around. We're going to chat with Bill Mondays about community and how to activate, how to really like put yourself out there in a way that adds value to the project that you are supporting. And we have the masked man here, Bill Mondays. How are we doing, sir?
Hey guys, what's going on? How are we feeling?
What's up, Bill?
Feeling
Yo.
pretty good. It's a nice Thursday. We had some rain yesterday, but now the skies are clear, just like we're seeing in your beautiful, beautiful background. So we're excited to have you on. We just had G-Van and PBJ from Perpl giving us an update, a little bit of a rundown of what's going on in the Perpl community, and now we have the Perpl masked man himself to tell us what's going on in the Monad community and beyond.
Yeah, it's good to be back on the show. I definitely was considering a Monad in the Mornings crash out arc where I completely kind of rally against Monad in the Mornings and just become its biggest hater.
Wow, thanks, man.
That's all right. It was just due to some scheduling issues. I became a bit of a diva. I think you gave me 7 minutes at one point, and I was very unhappy about that. and I apologize for my behavior, and I take that back.
I fully forgive you.
Yeah. Did you in fact crash out on us? Because we certainly deserve it. It is. There's been some technical snafus, some logistical snafus. It's a good amount of coordination to put this show on. We're experimenting. We're trying to get better every week. But for the ways and the times that we have let you down, Bill Mondays, I am so sorry.
Yeah, I did crash out on Tunes' show. I used it as a bit of a sounding board for my frustrations. Good thing that it's not recorded, so I can just simply apologize and move on from here.
Got you. KZ, like I said, you are more than welcome to stick around, but don't feel pressure if you do have something to run to. We'll just be hanging out for the next hour or so.
Got it. Yeah, I do have a little bit of stuff to do, but yeah, it was very fun being on for the second time again. Can't wait to see what Perpl has coming up next, and see you guys next time.
Yeah. Any final messages from the quant team here at Monad Foundation, or should we save that for another appearance on the show?
There's just so much data that we have to sift through on Monad testnet, but we're making some progress. But I think that'll probably be something for next time.
Awesome. Well, looking forward to it. Thanks again for coming on the show. Always a pleasure, sir. We'll catch you soon.
Bye.
Thanks, KZ.
Chat, give it up for KZ, the actual quant. Heck yeah. Thanks, KZ.
And like that, he's gone.
We will miss him, but not forgotten. Okay, we had a Bill Monday little crash out on Tunes' space. Deserved. We, again, humbly apologize. But we are grateful to have you on now. We've got a full hour.
So I think were you crashing out about us on his space?
The entire yes, just everything Monad in the mornings. The setup, the hosts, the scheduling. I really went deep.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. I wish we actually could have fielded that feedback live, but it's good that we have the opportunity to do so now. Bill, what's going on in the Monad community? I kind of teed this up as like, hey, we're going to talk about the maturation of communities and how you can actually add value at different stages of a project's life cycle. We've seen a ton of momentum around Monad over the past year, but it looks very different now than it did a while back. So wondering where you want to take this.
Yeah, I think it's been I don't know, to set the kind of context. I think everyone knows where we're at, but often it's kind of hard to conceptualize where you're at when you're in it. And testnet kind of came out like a few months ago now, maybe 4 months. How long's it been out? 4 or 5 months?
Almost 3, but not quite 3, which is kind of wild. It's gone by pretty quickly. It feels like it's been out for an eternity.
Yeah, and that's kind of changed the dynamic of what being a community member means. There's like a pressure to kind of get on the chain and do things, and a pressure to build things, certainly. And I think the community is quite a younger cohort. Like I don't know if there's a huge amount of people that are like mid-career in the community. There's certainly a number of them, but I think the majority are like starting out on their careers and maybe don't have a huge amount of that experience that you get from just bouncing around and doing different things. And so we've seen some really cool experimentation, some really cool evolution of people moving into becoming a founder for certain things, becoming a founder of an NFT project, a meme coin, trying to create reproducible content or like productized content. We've seen a lot of people starting to do new things. And it's really cool. It's really, really cool because, I don't know.
We have an unexpected guest.
Let's go. Oh, jeez.
Hello, James. Good morning. Welcome to Monad in the Morning. Thank you for calling in, and also thank you for volunteering the second car of the week for Spin to Win.
Hello, James.
Is this real?
This is as real as we can assume it to be. Yes. we
Why
think it's
why is
real.
there a guy like in a knit stocking cap?
His name is Bill Mondays. He leads community, and he doesn't want to show everyone
He
just how
knows
handsome
who
he
I
is.
am. He knows who I am.
Did you knit that?
Danny knitted it for me.
Danny knitted it for you?
Yeah.
I did. That's why we've been late on the show a couple times, because I was just finishing up some final touches on Bill's mask. It really had to be perfect.
That was
You
a
know-
really touching apology.
I think
Really moved my heart.
I think we're due for a spin to win since
Well, wait
James
a second. I joined because you guys didn't spin for LKA 10 NFT.
Yeah, well, it was a little bit confusing for us here in the studio as to how that person was selected, but I agree we probably should give a spin to LKA.
Let's spin for
NFT.
LKA.
Look
All
at
right,
that.
I love it.
All right, here we go. This is for LKA. APAC follow.
Oh, follow from the Monad APAC account. That's a good one to have. Those are pretty few and far
James
between.
is shaking his head.
No car.
Yeah, but like, how many cars can we give away? And also, can you tell us more about these cars that are being given away? Like, how do the logistics work?
This is from the Yayo NFT collection. Do you guys know Yayo? I guess not. So Yayo is like a Remelia collection, right? Same as like Milady.
Hmm.
And so Yayo is like, I don't know, there's it's like modern man, something. If you search for YAYO NFT,
It's from Colombia.
embodying the future archetypes of power, speed, violence, wealth, chaos, and adventure.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a good collection. I like it.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. Are they an earlier NFT or are they more recent? Like, did they mint after Remelia's?
It was like 23.
Hmm.
Yeah, May 23. Yeah, just go to like OpenSea and type in Yayo and NFT. So
Yeah, these are pretty cool. That probably explains why I'm unaware of them, because I had my own kind of crash out arc on NFTs after I bought all of the wrong ones for like 2 years straight throughout 21 and 22. But that was definitely user error, so I should be aware of these. I'm glad I am now.
You should pull out your portfolio and go through them sometime, Danny, because I'm pretty sure they're going to be horrific.
Oh, my old like Solana and ETH NFTs?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an absolute graveyard. We could have an extended stream just for reviewing the carnage in my old Phantom and MetaMasks, but we'll probably save that for another day. I am curious though. There's been quite a lot of NFTs on testnet, and I know James is a fan. James, do you have a favorite NFT or perhaps a couple favorites?
oh, I'm on testnet?
Yeah.
No, because I'm too poor to buy any of those. So like, this is a total scam, dude.
James, do you have a Jerry?
I don't know. I don't think so.
They minted this past week, but it was very low
No,
supply.
I don't know, Jerry. I have like 300 testnet Mon or something, so I
Yeah,
can't buy
you're-
anything.
you're not
They're
getting
all like
anything.
tens of thousands of Mon, right?
Yeah. The economics did get a little inflated around some of those NFTs. I think it really started with the scrumpies. Those went wild. I don't know, Bill, what's your experience been with the testnet NFTs?
I get told to mint them, and then I kind of forget to mint them, and then the founders come back and bully me and laugh and be like, they're 14,000 mon now. And I'm like, yeah, sorry. And they're like, you're an idiot.
Yeah, that sums up my experience.
It's kind of a nice little redemption arc for those founders, though. It's like, You don't believe in me? No problem. I'm gonna go hit a home run. We love to see that attitude, but
Yeah, I think they're doing something shady. They're like working with like warlords or something to pump these prices. I just don't know where you can get that amount of consistently to floor an NFT collection at like the 10,000 plus mon mark. I don't know how they're doing that. Seems shady.
yeah, unless it's like the same people like just trading these things, like getting in and out. Like you get the whitelist, you mint it, you flip it, and you do the same thing over and over again. I mean, that's kind of what NFTs in 2021 were.
Are you saying that they're wash trading, Danny? Are you making allegations against our wonderful community?
No. I'm not saying wash trading. I'm just saying like James would probably describe this as just like good trading. Like you get an asset for a low amount and you sell it for an amount that's higher than you bought it for. And if you have a whitelist, like you have preferred access to get this asset at a in a non-public arena. Am I wrong?
Yeah, that's wash trading is good trading.
See, there you go.
Hey James, thank you for inventing 2048, the game. By the way, that was really nice of you to invent that and push that out.
Yeah, intern sent me this Wikipedia page or something. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, how did that happen? I don't know.
What? I need some clarity on this. What happened?
Oh, so it surfaced that 2048 actually got invented by Italian web developers Giacomo Hunsaker and Chione Honorelli in 2014. Yeah, so all of this recent, wish wash on the timeline about who invented it. We had it first.
So is that real or is that like edited?
Well, I don't know. You tell me. What were you doing in 2014 in Italy?
No. I mean, it's not like a screenshot that somebody edited, right? Like Wikipedia actually says that.
He's trying to get out of it. he's trying to shush the allegations.
See, this is why you should never believe anything you read on the internet.
It got leaked. It's on WikiLeaks.
Well, the only place I've ever read about Monad is the internet. So,
Your history. Somebody modified it May 8th. Oh, that's a week ago. No.
Oh, that's
surprising that's still up.
Yeah, that's suspiciously long. Must be true.
Yeah.
Must be true. But yeah, I mean, I know Category Labs has been working on some other really cool stuff with RaptorCast and Consensus, and I'm sure a lot more that I'm not even aware of. But it did look like you at least had a chance to check out 2048, James. I'm wondering what you thought about it.
No, I wasn't able to play it because when I tried it, there was an error. So, fucking shit didn't even work for me.
You are a marketing genius. That's exactly what we should be saying.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. So, yeah, it was. The blog post was interesting though, but yeah, there was a little bullshit on the timeline about that game. But I tried to correct that. Yeah, I think people don't realize like that's the way video games are implemented, right? And it's kind of cool to see a real life blockchain game implemented in the same sort of methodology. It's not something that we invented necessarily, or whoever the developer has invented, but porting that and giving an example of that to give like real time sort of like playing on blockchain is, I think, pretty cool. But yeah, I didn't get a chance to play it.
I mean, speaking of real time on blockchain, we just had Perpl co-founder PBJ and their community lead Gvan on the show talking about their recent fundraise announcement, the club that they're going to be implementing on Monad, and curious if you've followed that announcement, James, and if you have any thoughts on Perpl or the broader trading experience, what we can expect for Monad mainnet.
Yeah, so pretty excited about that team. Disclaimer is that I angeled into it, but strong tech team, and getting all that, getting like a perps exchange built correctly is a hard thing to do. There's a lot of details, um, liquidations, all that leverage, all that sort of stuff, right? And so um, that team, uh, has a lot of um, former and active, current sort of trading people helping them build and expertise in designing that. So, yeah, I'm pretty bullish on Perpl, very bullish on Perpl, and I'm excited to see what they, excited to see them launch on testnet hopefully soon and get some experience using it. Yeah.
Thanks for that, Larry.
Whoa.
Did you
Yeah,
catch
like,
their
I,
whole
I, I
presentation?
did I did catch that. Like he had mentioned it to me as well. I actually have never watched. What is it, Curb Your Enthusiasm or something?
I
I've
believe so. I've
actually
never
never
watched it
seen a
either.
single episode of that. I mean, I know who Larry David is, obviously, because he's a famous dude from, involved with Seinfeld and all that sort of stuff. So, he's a famous guy, but I've actually never watched that show. So I don't know, like, how he behaves or what his, like, sort of persona is. So I need to watch some episodes and get up to speed.
I've only seen an episode or two. I think the main thing with Larry David in Curb Your Enthusiasm is he's just like he marches to the beat of his own drum. He does what he wants. He doesn't really take crap from anybody, and he just kind of lives his own way. So it's definitely respectable. He likes to have a good time too.
Yeah, I gotta watch it.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good one.
Dude, this is getting low energy now. We got to spin the wheel.
Yeah. I was just about to say. I think it's time to
Half the
spin the
viewers
wheel.
half the viewers fell asleep.
Yeah. So, do you just want to? Let's just pick somebody random in the chat here. Do you have a chat? Are you able to see anything, James?
I can see it, but it's kind of it goes by pretty fast.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to do the ones. Maybe we do like a Twitter selection or something like that.
Yeah, like we can have if everybody wants to go to just comment James's car on the Twitter post of this stream. Should we do that? Or it could be anybody that reposts James's post of the car.
I would say just drop any comment. You don't have to drop a specific comment. We don't want people who are not tuning in to think that we're just up to some shenanigans behind the scenes here. So drop any comment on the Pipeline stream on Twitter. We'll pick one of you randomly, or maybe not so randomly. I'm just getting a bunch of like car comments. James's car, Mercedes, BMW, James car, all caps. James, pick me please. Jaguar. Pictures of their favorite Yayo NFTs.
Yeah, I wonder if anybody knows what my original Yayo is.
Were you a minter?
No, but I bought. So the one of the lore is like my Milady is Sprite, right? She's the Milady number 10 is like the original Milady, and so that Milady appears in other collections. That's why that Milady is so famous, and so I have a Yayo which is with her in the picture. I wonder if anybody knows about that.
Oh wow.
That would be a good one if you do uncover.
Yeah.
You do uncover it, feel free to drop it in the chat. Drop it as a comment. I found a comment that I liked from Lil Blue, longtime listener of Monad in the Morning, longtime supporter of the Pipeline. And the comment reads, I am up to no shenanigans, parentheses, lie. I don't really know what that means, but it just kind of jumped out to me. Felt like it had some soul. We're gonna spin this one for Lil Blue.
Pipeline hat.
Pipeline hat for Lil Blue, very well deserved. Like I was just saying, longtime Pipeline supporter. Got to get the hat. Yeah, we have one behind us somewhere. I think it might be over behind Jessup, but yes, Lil Blue, we will get you a Pipeline hat.
It's not Blue. It's Lil Blue, or same person.
I think that's the. I believe that is the same person. Yeah, the handle's Blue.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, I mean, we got Bill here. We got to talk about the community side of things. James, you are always welcome on the Pipeline stream. It's an honor to have you calling in as a special guest. But Bill, what's going on here in the community?
Well, I'm not going to yap while James is here. He's the guy building the thing. Like,
well, you were getting mad at me for not giving you your slot on the Monad in the Morning.
And then you gave me an hour-long slot, and what it's meant to yap about, be heartfelt for 45 minutes.
Okay, well, I honestly, if we want to go a little bit over to the tech side, James, Category Labs pushed out the Raptorcast research and accompanying blog post and thread, which I've been digging into a little bit and would love to kind of break it down for the layman, because it really seems like this is a massive unlock in terms of the entire like state of block propagation methods that are on the market. It seems to be the fastest and the most secure, if I'm correct in saying that. But would love to hear like how that research process went, why the decisions were made that were ultimately made, and how that came to fruition.
Yeah, so Raptorcast, well, Raptor encoding is it's a special type of encoding, right? So I'm assuming most of the people on the stream are non-technical. So basically, like, you know, you have a message that you want to send to somebody else, and when you send the message, parts of that message might be lost, right? So like, the internet's unreliable, or, you know, if you're sending it via mail or something, like some of the mail pieces are lost or something like that. So how can you send something where the mechanism by which you send it to the other person is sort of unreliable? And one way is this encoding, where you basically generate, you basically enlarge the message by adding some additional data. And then there's some mathematics that you can do when you receive, you know, a subset of that data on the other end, that you can recover the original message. And so you take the message, you run some math, you add some extra data to the message, you send that out. Some of it's lost along the way, and then when you get it on the other end, you know, hopefully you've received enough that you can recover the original message. So there's different sorts of encodings. They've been around for a while, but Raptor encoding is just one of these sorts of encodings. Raptor was not invented at Monad. I think it's actually a Qualcomm invention, which Qualcomm is like a telecom company that builds stuff for communications. And so obviously this sort of field is also very relevant to them. And so Raptorcast is basically leveraging that sort of research and applying it to blockchain. And the team just kind of looked at all of the technologies that were available and worked on it. And this is, you know, what we came up with.
Very interesting. As I was digging into it, it kind of seems like you need to get this, or it's ideal to get this message out across the entire network as fast as possible. And that is only true in the context of a decentralized layer one. And the more decentralized it is, the more challenging it is to actually make that happen. Is that correct?
Yeah. So, you know, Monad is intended to be globally distributed, and that's where kind of physics come into play, right? So just going from one part of the world to another, the speed of light still takes 100 milliseconds or something, right? And so, there's physical sort of limitations. There's just no way to be faster than that. And so you want to, in a blockchain, basically you want to send out the block to all these remote nodes, and then they send back like a vote, basically saying, yes, I saw this block, I agree with you. That's the consensus part of blockchain. And so, how can you distribute this, as quickly as possible? Basically, you need to sort of have direct connections from the nodes. You can't have too many hops because every hop adds sort of latency. And so the way the RaptorCast works is, the proposer basically, the proposer is the current leader of the blockchain, the person who at that moment gets to propose a block. They take their block, they encode it using this Raptor encoding, they send it out to the other validators, and the validators also communicate amongst each other. And you try to do this whole sort of process in, 100 milliseconds or a couple hundred milliseconds, and then the process, voting has to come back also in a couple hundred milliseconds, and that's sort of where you get your block time. So, the sort of the minimum sort of consensus that you can do all this sort of work, given a globally distributed network, is a few hundred milliseconds. And so Solana block times are like 400 milliseconds. They're pretty close to the minimum of what's physically even possible. And Monad right now, we set a parameter. Monad is basically like 500 milliseconds. That's just to add some padding for. It could probably be lower, but that's just to add some padding for sort of things to go wrong. But anything that claims to sort of perform this process in less than 400 milliseconds is disingenuous, right? Like, either they're not globally distributed, so some blockchains will, like, all their servers are basically in the same region, and they'll claim, okay, we got 50 millisecond block times. Well, that's because they're not really constrained by the laws of physics. They're within the same region, so they can communicate quicker and they can turn around blocks faster. But a design sort of goal of Monad was that you can run a node anywhere in the world and participate in the chain. And, we kind of set that as a design goal, and then we just try to make that as fast as possible. If you're willing to make trade-offs in decentralization, if you're willing to run all your servers in the same data center or run all your servers in the same region, you can achieve lower block time. You're just not as decentralized.
Got it. So it's kind of this process of optimizing all the way down the pipeline, if you will. But then at a certain point, like, you are constrained really by physics and the limits, like how fast by the speed of light, for example.
Yeah, speed of light basically is the limiting factor here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's really, really interesting, and it's quite unique as well. I think a lot of people, myself included, might not have kind of understood some of these nuances, but the rate at which Category Labs is shipping new research papers, new blog posts, new threads, and new updates for the Monad testnet has definitely been impressive to me. And
we actually have a backlog. Like, we have a pretty decent research team, a really great research team at Category Labs, and we're continuing to expand that team. And so we're going to produce some really, like, top notch sort of research over the coming years. And we already have ideas that are in draft sort of form, and so that'll just keep coming. And we're going to keep hiring, building out that team, and doing great research. So the team there is, super strong. I don't understand everything that they tell me. I go in and I'm kind of, they make me feel dumb. I get in the room and I get whiteboarded some stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then, it takes time to understand this stuff. And then a week will go by, and I'll think maybe I understand it, and I'll get them in the room again and say, can you re-explain that to me? So they probably think I'm pretty annoying, but um,
We have
there's
spinning giveaway wheels, streaming live, buying NFTs while these guys are busy whiteboarding. That's crazy.
Well, for anyone who's tuning in, definitely follow at category_XYZ, which is where these research updates and developments are first hitting the timeline. But yeah, it's super exciting to be
it's that's going to be a low volume account, but everything that comes out of the account should be very high quality, sort of.
Yeah, and it's important stuff,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like if you're looking to follow along with Monad, how it's improving, how these optimizations are being implemented, not just pre mainnet, but indefinitely. It is like an ever evolving project, as you've said many times, for continuing to just push the limits on what's possible and doing so in a decentralized manner, which is just so cool to me.
Yeah, it's not going to stop. We're always going to be looking for ways to improve performance, improve the user experience, improve security, improve privacy is a big goal of mine. There's part of the team that's working on privacy sort of related initiatives.
How do you even do that?
How do you do what?
Privacy. Is that just like ZK stuff?
Yeah, it can be ZK. There's other sorts of private sort of transactions. There's transactions that you want to be private temporarily, right? So if you want to like guard against MEV, like it's not necessarily that you care that the transaction is revealed at some point, but you want to keep it private for some time period so that other people can't trade against it, sort of, or MEV it. But then you got the sort of privacy, like the government shouldn't know how much money I have, or I don't want other people to know how much money I have. So that sort of privacy is just like permanent sort of privacy. So that's more ZK stuff, your Zcash sort of technology. But yeah, there's different sort of problems to solve and different use cases, and you might have some spectrum of different sort of solutions.
Doesn't that start to become illegal, like how Tornado Cash got shut down?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, some governments will not like that, right? I think it has more really to do with taxes than anything else. If everybody has sort of private on-chain wealth and receives private on-chain salaries and receives, like you'll just have very low sort of tax compliance. And so I think the biggest threat to governments, that's probably one of the biggest threat to governments is for privacy, is just tax compliance.
And that's where like proper decentralization is kind of important, right? Well, not the only place, but definitely one of the big places.
Yeah, there's just I won't mention the country, but the article I read, like, they would drive around, tax authorities would drive around, and they would see this big fancy house with like two Mercedes in the driveway, and that person reported like 15K of income that year, and it's just like. So it's sort of like in sort of certain societies, certain governments where it's not sort of regulated, you just have very, very low tax compliance, right? And I think that's really where people will say we don't want privacy because that's how terrorism is funded, or that's how other sorts of illegal activities is funded. But I just don't like buy into that. I really think it's the main motivation is tax compliance, and taxes is basically how politicians have power, right? They do mostly power comes from dispensing sort of like tax, benefits to different sorts of industries or companies or that sort of thing. So
now they're looking at what NFTs you're holding.
Yeah, like they see what NFT I have, and then I go and report I made this much money. It doesn't justify that purchase. You're going to get suspicious. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a battle. And, but I think maybe you were asking me this, Bill, but like what can we actually do, or like what are we afraid to implement? Maybe is that what you were going with that? Like,
sure.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
But
What are you afraid of implementing, James? What are you deeply afraid of doing?
Well, you don't want to get shut down, right? Like if you put out something that launders, like you said, like turning into cash or something, you don't want to go to jail. You don't want to get shut down. So you have to be sort of like measured in the approach.
Mm. But they can't shut down a network of distributed validators, right?
Not a globally distributed one. They can
Mm.
shut down an L2. They can pull the plug. Throw the multi-sig people in jail. But yeah, that's that's why globally distributed systems are important, right? You're not subject to any sort of like one country's laws.
Yeah, like Spain, who has that new law of like you have to alert the bank to withdraw more than however much it was that came out.
Yeah, I mean they try this, right? Like Europe threatened Elon with people allowing certain content on Twitter, like this sort of thing, right? And we're going to throw you in jail if you don't delete this content, or at least censor it in Europe. So what are you going to do? Like you have to have a globally decentralized system, and you're not subject to the whims of any individual sort of politician sort of thing.
Do you think that because like for me this is a very interesting subject and I'm almost surprised that it doesn't come up more just amongst common people that are using crypto. Maybe a lot of people that are using crypto are just kind of focused on the trading and financialization side of things, but at this point I am surprised that it's not, more of a conversation or more of a factor in terms of people's decisions of what products to use.
Well, you don't think about it until it hits you, right? It's a common thing. Like during COVID, Canada, I think, basically locked the accounts of the truckers who were protesting. Right. This is a famous sort of example. Now, who would have were those truckers ever thinking that their bank accounts could be locked by the government any moment prior to that? Like they just didn't, right? They didn't think. No one would think the government's just going to swoop in and tell the banks that you can't transact anymore. So that was the famous sort of case where they were getting donations and Bitcoin and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, you don't need to be like a doomsday prepper where you have like cans of food and rifles in your basement sort of thing. But you should try to like put a little bit of effort to think about who can control you, how can they control you. If you value sort of freedom at all, um, and try to build things that are that can protect you and guard you and protect your freedom.
Super super important. But didn't you actually tweet like within the last day or two that uh like basically like the future is deterministic, i.e. like you don't have free will or control?
Yeah, but that's like a very philosophical sort of statement. I mean, you view yourself as having free will.
Certainly, yes.
Yeah.
Interesting one to think about. This is probably our most philosophical monad in the mornings. Yeah, we should do it more often.
I have a question, James. What what do you think the future? I have a 15-year-old son. Like, what are the things that he should be looking at as far as I think you tweeted something about teaching kids something. I was trying to find it, but I couldn't find it. But like, what would be the areas of kind of where do you see jobs being in, whether it's in Web3 or in coding? Where do you see things going for children?
Yeah, I'm pretty pessimistic on the future as far as like technology. You're going to get this sort of like bimodal distribution, right? You're going to get people who it's not easy to automate. So your plumbers, your home builders, your roofers, of course that'll be automated at some point, but there's a lot of like robotics is sort of a different field. It's hard to do controls and control theory. I know you see the robots that can do like ballet. I think Elon's been posting one of his robots that can do ballet now, but I'm still pretty skeptical of that. And then you're going to have the other people who are sort of working on AI, ML developers, that sort of thing. And if you're technically talented or mathematically or logically talented, then you should learn the program. But more importantly, you should kind of like gear towards the future of programming, which is going to be, most of the programming will be done by machines, and then you're really, I think one tweet I put is like you're really proving the program, or you're really specifying the program as opposed to writing the program. Um, if you're an artist or that sort of thing, I think you just have to figure out like, how can you put like, for lack of a better word, I can't think of another word right now, but more of sort of like romance into it, right? Like, and there's going to be a lot of AI generated slop, but the AI will never have sort of like the romance, and so I don't know. You just have to, everyone, depending on what your sort of like natural talents are, you're going to definitely have to adapt to this future. And yeah, it's going to be rough for some people, for sure.
I'm curious about like the software development side of things, because obviously what it means to be a programmer is going to likely change quite a bit. I've heard people describe it as like the next generation of programmers are going to be less focused on the how and more focused on the logic and the what and the why. But curious, like what your thoughts on that are, because I am not a programmer and you obviously are.
Yeah, I put a tweet about this. It didn't get many likes. Probably people didn't understand it that well, but it's exactly what you just said. So, uh, um, the how to do something, how to implement an algorithm will probably be done by machines. So it's going to come down to more like what did you want? Uh, what did you want the machine to do? Like, what are you really trying to spec out? What is it really? What problem is it really trying to solve? And you're kind of guiding the machine, and then also making sure that what it does is what you wanted. So I think I put a couple actually like languages in that Twitter post that I think people should probably learn. But it's going to come down to proving, especially any sort of application which is real, like financial, or like you're writing software for drones or airplanes, or all this sort of like stuff, that the software that phones, like the software that guides sort of people's real day-to-day lives. um, I don't think I'm not talking about the sort of social media app, like dating app that somebody comes up with. I'm not talking about that. Like, I just don't think about those sorts of apps. So that's a different realm. But there's a lot of software you're using, like this software we're using right now for the stream, right? Like, there's video codecs involved. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes to even enable this stream to sort of be possible. I think that sort of stuff, will be the programming for that will be changed significantly, because it'll be less like how to do it. It'll be more like, what is it doing? Is it provably correct in the case of a lot of situations? I don't think people realize how much real software is out there around them. You go to the hospital, all those little devices have software running in them. The lights now are smart. They have software running in them. Like, everything has software running in it now. There's way more software. People just think of software as like, basically web apps, this sort of thing. But all that software, I think, is up for like, a whole new paradigm basically of development, and that's where things will really change.
There's a great question here. Did you have a follow up or? Okay. On stream, we have a question. Are you afraid that the technologies we're building to protect freedom might eventually end up in the hands of those who use them for control?
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand the question. I think it's always going to be a race. So yeah, uh, there's always going to be a race between people who want control and people who are trying to preserve freedom, and that's never going to end. But I'm not sure, like, yeah, what exactly that question is.
Maybe if I had to guess, it's like kind of getting at the idea that especially within crypto, you have this core ethos of decentralization and globally distributed permissionless systems. And almost every participant in the space, like their origin story starts something along the lines of like, oh, well, I stumbled across the Bitcoin white paper, or I was, messing around with Silk Road or something like that. So like they understand this fundamentally, but along the road you have, different teams taking different approaches, and many make trade-offs along the way where they're compromising on global distribution or decentralization in the interest of kind of generally taking a shortcut and putting out a more performant system. And maybe that's kind of like a commentary on people being like a bit
Yeah,
disingenuous.
there's definitely people who are trying to latch on to crypto. They just see crypto as a way of making money, right? And so crypto's a hot thing. I want to make money. People won't care if I make compromises. And so, this is kind of this is very dangerous, right? Because people think that they have control, or they think it's better to just use a centralized system and know you have a centralized system. Like it's better just to use Wells Fargo for banking, knowing that Wells Fargo can just take your money anytime it wants, than to use something where you think you have freedom, but you don't actually have freedom, right? And I think that's sort of the biggest risk here. Is there's a lot of people that enter crypto because they want to leverage the crypto industry, crypto participants, crypto ideals just to make money for themselves. They don't really care about the outcome. And there's definitely a huge risk there. And so, Monad doesn't have, like we talked about privacy, like Monad doesn't have any built-in sort of privacy on launch, but you have to just find people who are principled and want to do that. And I'm principled in that way. I want to do that sort of thing. I think it's important. But yeah, it's as the corporate sort of interests sort of come into crypto and try to make money and try to latch on and say, oh, here's a new industry. I'm BlackRock. Here's a new industry. How can I make money off crypto? They don't necessarily adhering to the crypto ideals, right? They just see this as a market, and so you have to be, I'm pretty wary of all this stuff. Everybody gets excited because they think, oh, BlackRock's going to buy my bags, and I'm going to make a lot of money. That's very short of short-term thinking. Like let's take a longer term thinking stuff over years or even decades. And you'll still get rich. Like somebody's still going to buy your bags, but they're going to buy it for the right reasons. And you just don't want corporate interests sort of coming in. And I've spoken about this a few times before. Like I definitely disagree with a lot of what people get excited about in crypto because it's just not adhering to the ideals.
It seems like the only solution to get back to basic fundamentals of the right reasons to participate in the space is unfortunately for something very bad to happen. Like, do you see another path that kind of gets the user base back on track or gets people to like actually care about the systems that they're using?
No, they have to, a lot of people won't. A lot of people stick their hand in the oven and get burnt, and then they'll learn, and then a couple of years will go by and they'll forget that the oven's hot and they'll have to stick their hand in the oven and get burned again. Like people are just generally not strategic thinking in their day-to-day lives, and they have to get burnt here and there to to realize this sort of thing. And so there's going to be some pain, and it's kind of expected, and like it's okay. Like it's not, it's just part of the process.
So what about like the last like few election cycles, obviously voter fraud was a giant topic of discussion, but like there's use cases for the blockchain that are beyond the financial side, right? Like couldn't we potentially put voting on chain and eliminate some of this discussion on trust?
Absolutely, yeah. Voting. I mentioned like Europe trying to get Elon to block Twitter posts. There's a lot of uses for decentralized systems that are not financial. There has to be some. There has to be some level of financial aspect to it because people are not. Um, you know, People are not necessarily generous. Any of these sort of like networks that have spun up as decentralized but never had a financial aspect, they always stayed small, right? And you had some real principled people on the internet that would run servers, this sort of thing. But there has to be some sort of maybe micropayments solve some of that stuff, but there has to be some sort of incentive. But AWS is like people use Amazon Web Services for a lot of stuff. It's overpriced. Like they make a ton of money, and there's that's who we're really who we're competing with, right? We're competing with centralized sort of cloud providers, and we can save money and do a better job.
I think we should spin the wheel.
Yeah, let's spin it. We gotta
Yeah, I didn't intend this to be like a serious conversation. I was just gonna jump in here and give Bill Monday some shit. And
no, it was quite good.
Wearing on his head.
Breath of fresh air from the absolute drivel that Monad in the Mornings normally is. Oh, what? No, I mean the quality show that Monad in the Mornings is.
We love having Bill here. James, do you want to pick somebody to spin for?
No, I do not want to pick somebody to spin for.
Well, we have to pick somebody. Maybe Bill.
You guys
wants
pick
to,
it.
Maybe Bill wants to help us pick. And Bill, we'll have to get you on next week as well to run through the community side. I know there was some good bits planned there, but again, Bill, you have our apologies.
Who hasn't won in a while?
There's like a lot of people on there.
Besides like Real Chaos Walker and Jeezy and Blue.
Has Gleader won?
No, Gleader actually. I don't know if Gleader's ever won a spin to win. I like Gleader as a selection.
I picked Gleader.
So this spin to win is a little special because they're all James's car.
I wonder what it's going to be.
So the suspense.
Wow, this wheel like really spins for a while on its own.
What is he gonna get?
What's it gonna be?
What's it gonna be?
Oh my God! It's James's car.
Who is it?
Crazy.
Congratulations,
Leader just won James's car. James, thank you for putting that up.
You guys send me the Twitter account or whatever, and I'll message him. Set it up.
We absolutely will. James, thank you for joining us on an impromptu Monad in the Mornings. Bill, thank you for joining as well. This was a very interesting chat. We'll have to run it back on the community subject next week. I know there's a bunch to get to there, but it was super awesome to hear about some updates from the Category Labs side, as well as a bit more of a philosophical conversation as to why some of these design and engineering choices are being made for Monad, and certainly got me excited to see even further updates follow Category Labs, and before that we heard from Perpl as well. So lot of exciting stuff going on in the Monad ecosystem, on the Monad protocol, and in the Monad community, which we will get to next week with Bill. But thanks again, Bill, for joining. Thanks again, James, as well.
All right, thank you. See you guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, guys.